So now let's read The Adventure of Paddington, Love Day. Dear Aunt Lucy, today has been a day full of love. Did you know that there is an entire day a year to celebrate it? It is a day called Love Day. Happy Love Day, said Mr. Brown, surprising Mrs. Brown with a special heart-shaped breakfast. What is a Love Day? Asked Paddington, popping up at the table. It sounds like a jolly nice day. It is, replied Mrs. Brown. It's about letting the people you love know that you love them. Happy Love Day, everyone, said Mrs. Bird as she walked in, carrying a large bag of Love Day cards. Mrs. Brown reminded her about the special treat they had in store that evening. Mr. Brown is taking us all to the Colombian Cafe in the park to celebrate. He booked it weeks ago. Mr. Brown dropped the saucepan into the sink with a splash. You haven't forgotten to book the cafe, have you, darling? Asked Mrs. Brown, looking worried. No, of course not, spluttered Mr. Brown, rushing out. But Mr. Brown had forgotten. He hurried to the park with Judy and Jonathan to see if he could book a table for that evening. On the way, they bumped into Mateo and his dog, Lucky, whose lead got wrapped around Mr. Brown's scooter. When Lucky spotted a squirrel, he went charging after it, dragging Mr. Brown with him. No, Lucky, stop! After pulling Mr. Brown around the whole park, Lucky finally skidded to a halt outside the Colombian Cafe. He sat proudly in front of Jonathan, Judy, and Mateo while Mr. Brown tried to recover. Woof! Once he got his breath back, Mr. Brown begged Sophia for a table for the Love Day dinner. But she said the cafe was fully booked. No, cried Mr. Brown. Then Sophia had an idea. If we push some tables together, I can squeeze you in. Oh, thank you, said a relieved Mr. Brown. Meanwhile, Paddington had made a special Love Day card for Mrs. Bird. Thank you, Paddington, she replied, admiring his handiwork. That's very kind of you. But Paddington hadn't just made one Love Day card, he'd made a whole stack of them. Mrs. Bird, could you help me deliver this, please? Goodness, Paddington, gasped Mrs. Bird. You have made a lot of friends since arriving from Peru. Yes, I suppose I have, agreed Paddington. I've made cards for everyone. Mrs. Bird took Paddington out on her motorcycle to deliver his Love Day card. Happy Love Day, Pigeonton, Paddington called to his feathered friend. I've made you a card. Whoosh! A great gust of wind blew Paddington's card clean out of his paws. Oh, butters! Cried Paddington as his card was scattered far and wide. Don't worry, said Mrs. Bird, dropping Paddington off on the pavement. I'll get them back, and with that she zooms away. As Paddington walked along the road, the wind whipped another of his cards past him and into Mr. Grubber's antique shop. Inside, Paddington spotted the card stuck in a suit of armor. There you are! Paddington couldn't reach it, so he climbed onto a globe, but he began to spin round and round. Will just managed to grab the card when the suit of armor toppled toward him with a crash. Goodness me, Paddington, said Mr. Grubber, hearing the curvel. What's going on? He looked down to see his suit of armor in pieces on the floor and Paddington wearing the helmet. Happy Love Day, Mr. Grubber, called Paddington. Just then, the helmet fell over his eyes. Clang! Thank you, Paddington, chuckled Mr. Grubber. Happy Love Day to you too. After leaving Mr. Grubber's shop, Paddington noticed Pigeonton had found one of his Love Day cards caught on the bunting outside. Well done, Pigeonton, he called as he climbed up to get it. Paddington walked carefully along the bunting, but when he reached the middle, it got very wobbly. Whoa! Boing! The poor bear was flipped up into the air and left hanging from one foot upside down. I appear to be rather tied up, he said with a sigh. Mrs. Bird spotted Paddington dangling from the bunting. How on earth did you get up there, wee cup? She says, climbing up to get him. Now let's get you free. We've only one more cut to find. But just as Mrs. Bird untangled Paddington, the bunting snapped and they both swung down toward the ground. Whoa! Plop! Mrs. Bird landed perfectly on her motorbike and crashed. Paddington landed in the rubbish bin. I found the last card, cheered Paddington, spotting it in the bottom of the bin. Clever wee cup, said Mrs. Bird. Jump on and we'll go straight to the park, and off they sped. Mrs. Bird and Paddington reached the cafe just as it was turning to dusk. The Browns were waiting for them. Hello everyone, began Paddington. I've got card for you all. Ah, Paddington tripped and his card went flying, landing on the grass just as the park keeper was mowing the lawn. Crunch! The park keeper accidentally cut them into hundreds of pieces with his lawn mower. Oh no, gasped Paddington. My Love Day card. Now no one will know that I love them on Love Day, said Paddington sadly. Cards aren't the only way to show people you love them, Mrs. Brown said. You show us every day by being such a lovely bear. Suddenly the air was full of tiny bits of paper from Paddington's Love Day cards. Oh, gasped everyone, catching the confetti and reading Paddington's Love Day message. I love you. You make me so happy. You are my very best friend. It was a magical moment. This might be our best Love Day ever, said Mr. Brown. Thank you, Paddington. I've learned a lot about love today, Aunt Lucy. You can show people you love them just by being yourself. Happy Love Day. Love from Paddington. That's the end.